Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode, I'm not going to do my normal recap style. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give each team that I follow each Saturday, I'm going to give them their own like individual videos. I'm going to talk about the game on Saturday, my thoughts on their whole season, and then what I think they'll do going into the postseason. So we're going to start with Colorado. We all know last week they were knocked out of bowl contention with a disgusting loss to Washington State. Um, so the final score was 23-17 Utah. I'm just going to go through my numbers real quick. I am very shocked, actually, that the score was this close. I had a major blowout. I had it Utah 50, Colorado 28. Um, they had Utah by 20 and a half. The spread, I took the spread, and that was nowhere near 20 points. So I was wrong on that. I also took the over under at 46 and a half. Once again, I was wrong about that one. I don't know. I just expected Utah. I knew Utah was going to win. I just expected them to be a little bit more efficient on offense and, just kind of really gel together and like really put the pieces together. But from the looks of it offensively, they didn't really do a whole lot. They had Jay Glover. He had 17 carries for 107 yards. The leading receiver only had 2 receptions for 19 yards, and the quarterback was 6 of 10 for 61 yards. So we're going to look at the stats because I want to figure out how they scored 23 points. That's amazing. Staub for Colorado, he took over the play calling duties because I guess Shador was a scratch. He was 17-24, 195, and a touchdown. Very solid. Wilkinson he led the team with seven carries for 32 yards. I guess that's decent for a Colorado team. And Travis Hunter led all receivers with 8 receptions, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Let's see. So first, let's look at the box score. I just want to look at a couple stats. So I'm trying to figure out where these points came from. Oh, so Batari actually ran 2 touchdowns in it for himself. Okay. That's only 14 points. Where did the other 9 points come from? Were they field goals? 3 field goals? Yep. Okay, so he kicked 3 field goals. Okay. So it was a very ugly game. But I can't tell if this was just a good Colorado defensive performance or if this was a bad Utah performance. It's very hard. I say it's about 60% Utah's bad offense and 40% Colorado defense. Because there have been a few games this year where Colorado have held teams to under like 20, 25 points. So they can play a little bit of defense if it just all depends on the level of competition. All right. So now that we got that out the way, we got our scores, spread, we got all the money line stuff over under. Real quick, let's go check out the recap. I want to read this article. Utah grinds out 7 straight win over Colorado, 23-17. Jalen Glover ran for a career-high 107 yards to lead Utah to a 23-17 victory over Colorado in the Pac-12 finale for both teams on Saturday. Glover paced the running attack for the injury-riddled Utes that generated 268 yards in his first career 100-yard game. Sion Vaki and Jaquindon Jackson added 68 rushing yards apiece. When Utah is playing its best, we're running the football effectively. We're dominating time play, and we're not turning the ball over. Utah coach Kyle Whittingham said, "That's who we are." Luke Batari, threw for 61 yards and ran for a pair of touchdowns while filling in for Bryson Barnes at quarterback. Cam Rising needs to get it together. He can't keep redshirting. He can't keep getting extra years. This is ridiculous at this point. He's coming back for his 7th season. Ridiculous. Barnes did not play because of undisclosed injury. Let's see. Utah beat the Buffaloes for the 7th straight time in the rivalry series. I don't know if that's really. I mean, it's a fact, but it's not a. It's not, in my opinion. It's not. I mean, I guess in the scheme of everything, I guess you have to include this. But I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like 7 straight. I don't know, like 7 straight years of Alabama beating Vandy. It's like it is what it is. Ryan Staub threw for 195 yards and a touchdown while making his first career start for Colorado. Travis Hunter had 107 yards and a touchdown on 8 receptions. And then this is the totals. Let's see. This is crazy. Utah's offense stuck to the ground throughout the first half. Batari attempted only 3 passes before halftime and completed all 3. That is stupid. The Utes did not attempt to pass into the opening play of the second quarter and piled up 135 rushing yards by halftime. Conservative play calling worked well for the Utes. Utes. That's a chip. Utes. The Utes. Jesus Christ. On the opening drive, Utah ran 8 straight plays, culminating in Batari's 2-yard keeper to take a 7-0 lead. Connor O'Toole stripped the ball while sacking Staub on Colorado's opening drive, and Van Fillinger recovered to set up Utah's scoring drive. Anybody with a football mind knows they're going to run the ball, Colorado coach Deion Sanders said. They're a physical, tough, hard-nosed team that runs right at you, and that's what they did. The Buffaloes got on the board with a trick play in the second quarter. Jimmy Horn Jr. took a lateral pass from Staub and hit a wide open Dylan Edwards for a 30-yard score, cutting Utah's lead to 10-7. Colorado could draw no close at halftime. Let's see. Batari threw a 16-yard pass to Luca Cadarella on 4th down to set up his second touchdown run in the third quarter on a 1-yard keeper. Becker's third field goal, a 31-yarder, extended Utah's lead to 23-10 early in the fourth quarter. Colorado cut the deficit in half on Hunter's 18-yard catch midway through the fourth quarter. Utah ran the final 7. Good God. They ran the final 7:25 off the clock after getting the ball back. That's just your defense broke at that point. You had 7 minutes to get the ball back. I don't care if you had no timeout. You should be able to get the ball back with 7 minutes and 25 seconds left. We scored and left enough time. We left a lot of time, but they executed that last drive really well, Staub said. That's ridiculous. Takeaway. Colorado, poor run defense and ill-timed penalties dashed any hopes the Buffaloes harbored of springing an upset. I mean, that's a takeaway every week. Utah, Batari, a senior walk-on, was 5th string on the depth chart in fall camp before making his first career start on Saturday. Damn. So you got Bryson Barnes, Cam Rising. Who were the other 2 guys? So what happened to the other 2 guys? How did he go from 5th to start? Oh, okay. Hold on. I gotta finish the article, Dante. Batari transferred from Utah to California during the offseason in search of playing time, but had a change of heart during fall camp and returned to Salt Lake City. He earned a chance to start in his first FBS game after Barnes was ruled out with injury, and then backup quarterback Nate Johnson entered the transfer portal 2 days after Utah's 42-18 loss to Arizona. Batari earned a nod ahead of Brandon Rose, who was originally slated to back up Cam Rising this season before suffering an injury in fall camp. Okay, that would explain how he jumped 2 spots. Okay. Whittingham opted to go with the senior because of his in-depth understanding of the offense and praised Batari for getting the job done. It wasn't very flashy, but he did what he needed to do. Up next, Utah will play in its third straight bowl game. Colorado's season is finished. Their season was finished technically last week, but it's officially over. They finished the season 4-8, 1-8 in conference play. Now, just a few thoughts going forward for Colorado specifically. I believe next year they'll be better. How much better they'll be, that's to be decided. My only concern is recently in the last few weeks there have been a lot of posts I've seen of a lot of guys that have been decommitting, and that's kind of concerning to me because guys decommit all the time every year. That's nothing new. It's college football, but it's usually not put on this big of a display that a guy is going to decommit. And we got guys decommitting who committed and they're not graduate. They're not coming out till 2025. I never understand early commit. That's kind of silly. Well, committing in your beginning of your junior year is essentially like I just don't understand that. It's you still got 2 years of school left. Why would you do that? A lot can happen in 2 years. You might get a better offer. Stuff might happen in your life. Committing that early doesn't make any sense. But it kind of concerns me because the biggest thing they need a lot of help on defense, and they need a lot of help in the trenches. We won't know obviously until maybe summer camp, right? How much these decommits will affect Colorado. I'm talking about specifically Colorado. Will a lot more guys, jump on the bandwagon and start decommitting at a rapid pace? We don't know yet because you gotta understand the thing between college and pros. College, you're guaranteed 4 years, right? Because that's usually that's the 4 years of college, right? You're guaranteed that. Now you may get more, if you redshirt or you transfer and stuff like that. But at the beginning, you're guaranteed 4 years. You want to make sure you give yourself the best chance to, if you really care about the education, to get the best education you can. And you also want to go to a place where you can get 4 quality years of college football, right? Because regardless if you go pro or not, you want to at least play on a decent team in college. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, Colorado has so many needs. I'm not sure if all these guys decommitting is going to be a good thing for them going down the line. Now, like I said, everyone decommits all the time at every school, every level. But for Colorado, it hits them a lot harder because there's such a big talking point right now. I'm not going to say they're a big brand, but they're a very big talking point right now. They're the new hotness right now. So we'll see about that. Also, another thing that popped to my mind, because this also goes into the decommits. There was one guy that decommitted. It was very specific what he said, and it makes sense because I've had this on my mind going back to Jackson State. He said he decommitted because he doesn't know if Deion is going to be there, if Coach Sanders is going to be there by the time he comes to Boulder. And that's a very, very, legitimate point because no one's guaranteed a job, right? You might commit and then the coach get fired, right? But I don't think Deion is going to get to I don't think Dion is a guy. Dion is one of them guys. He'll quit before you fire him, right? There's no way you're gonna fire him. He'll leave. He'll quit before you do that. He'll resign before you get the chance to do that. And the reason that's a big concern because, like I said, I've had this thought since he was coaching at Jackson State. I don't know, even if he's coaches well past his son's leaving, I don't know if he's really going to coach for the long haul. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. If we're being realistic, I don't see Dion coaching anywhere for a decade. One his health, and two his age. He started. Someone brought this up. I think I saw it on Twitter. Someone brought this up. Deion Sanders. He started coaching. He started coaching collegiately too late. If we're being honest, when you coach college, you got to coach. You got to start you got to start early, man. You got to start like right out of college when you coaching college. You know, you start as a grad assistant, then you work your way up. You become, position was like offensive, defensive analysis. Then you go to positions and then coordinator. Then you work up to head coach. Now, obviously, he skipped the line because he's a celebrity. We're not gonna act like his celebrity status didn't play a part in him getting to where he is. But going forward, like I said, that all that put that into my mind. Like it's very possible he won't be there. Like the guy, this is his first recruiting class that he just finished with. His first year. This is all them freshmen he recruited. This is the start of that freshman class. I don't see him being here. I don't see him being in Colorado in 2027. I don't see it. It's one of two things. He'll either be burned out or something else will pop up, or he'll just be like, "Hey, I done what I need to do. I'm done. I'm done coaching," and he'll retire. Because, like I said, you're not going to fire Deion Sanders. He'll resign before you do that. So yeah, the last thing on my mind about Colorado is Shedeur. I'm gonna say it right now. A lot of people think he's going to be some kind of top five, draft pick. And I'll say this: I think he'll be a top five pick only because they need someone. They need someone to go in the top five. Let me explain. We've seen it through history. There are a lot of guys that go top five. They were nowhere near top five worthy picks. The only reason why they went top five is because that particular year they came out of college, there wasn't a whole bunch to compete against. For example, the Sam Darnold draft, Mark Sanchez, excuse me. Who else? I'm trying to think of somebody else that went really high. Um, I can't really think, but those are the two biggest ones. The year Sam Darnold and Mark Sanchez came out, there wasn't a whole lot of other quarterbacks to really go against, and every year someone needs a quarterback. So if you only got five mediocre quarterbacks coming out in the draft class, and a bunch of teams need quarterbacks, you can only take what you got because no one's gonna not take a quarterback in the first round. If you really need a quarterback in the first round, you're gonna take it. You can't wait. If you really need the quarterback, you can't wait to the second round because you might not have too many options left. It's the equivalent. It's a saying of like it's like what they say. It's like the best. You're the best. I can't. It's I'm paraphrasing, but it's that saying where it's like I guess it's more like not. I guess it's like someone on the line like the lesser of two evils, basically. You got two bad choices. Who is the not worst choice essentially? So that's all I'm saying. I don't think Shador is necessarily starter material. I don't see him as an NFL starter. I can see him as a backup, not a problem. I have no problem with that. That's actually not a bad thing. People have this preconceived notion that, oh, you were a backup in the NFL. Yeah, if you're a backup in the NFL, one, you make a lot of money. You don't have to kill yourself as much, but also, you can't nobody take that away from you. A backup quarterback in the NFL is still a NFL quarterback. Can't nobody say nothing to you. I don't care. Say what you will about Ryan Fitzpatrick. That man has been basically over half the. He's been on half the teams in the league in his career. Had very few starts in his career, but guess what? Can't nobody take away the fact that he played in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people cannot say that. So don't disrespect a backup quarterback, a journeyman. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What's his name? Chase, was it Chase Daniel? Didn't he get two rings as a backup? I mean, it's not such a bad job. The only thing between a backup and a starter is that if the starter loses, there's more blame on his shoulder. If a backup comes in, or even like a guy that comes in and gets like a few starts until the starter returns, you lose 3 games in a row with the backup. It's like, okay, whatever. We lost with the backup, but hey, both guys still get paid. Just one is not going to take as many hits, and once he's done, he gets to go back to his nice, comfy seat on the bench. Hey, man, if I had the skill to be a backup quarterback, shoot, I'd take that in a heartbeat, bro. I mean, it would be cool to be the leader of a team and be the reason that team won the Super Bowl. But hey, man, you're a backup on a Super Bowl winning team. Hey, that's not a bad trade off. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's it. That's just my thoughts on this. Oh, and then I guess one last thought I got about the Colorado Buffaloes. Going forward though, we're gonna have to start paying a little bit more attention to how this team looks when it comes to the discipline aspect. There was too many games this year where it was a lot of it was just a lack of discipline that cost them games. You go back to what game was that? I think there was a game. Dang, what game was that? There was I think there was like an incident in like I think it was an incident in the. Am I remember? There was a few. I can't remember specifically the situations, but there was a lot of instances this year where being undisciplined was the difference between a win and a loss. And you look at the way they ended the season. It's not like they got blown out in every game. They had some winnable games. They should have beat Stanford. They had a chance against Utah. They had a chance against Oregon State. They had a chance against UCLA. I mean, if better discipline and better, we got to go back to it. Better coaching those games flip, that's 4 wins right there. That's the difference between 4-8 and 8-4, and 1-8 in the conference. You be what, 5-3 in the conference? That's a much improved of I'm trying to think of that. Yeah, you be 5-4 in the conference. Yeah, that's a huge improvement over what they are now. Now, granted, people are like, "Oh, well, they only had one conference win, the same as last year." That's true, but they also had 3 extra wins. I mean, we all understand it's a rebuild, um, and this stuff takes time. Very few teams actually start. Very few teams have have a fast rebuild. TCU was supposed to be TCU, like seasons like TCU and seasons like who else? I'm trying to think recently. Um, Whatever team, but y'all know some teams what I'm talking about. When they had that situation, very few teams have instances with like TCU where they came out of nowhere and ended up, 13, 14-1, 13-2 or whatever. That doesn't happen all the time. A lot of teams, they start out struggling. The foundation is building, but they just don't have the pieces, and they don't have, they just don't have that the coaching down, the discipline, and a lot of it is just not. It's not. There's some bad coaching moments, but a lot of it is just he's also got to get his system right. He got to get what he does down, and solid. He got to get his manifesto in place, and then once he starts getting the actual guys that he needs for his system, then they'll be straight. He needs to focus more on recruiting and less on that portal, because the problem is he's trying to build teams through that portal, and that's not going to work, because the problem is if the problem is the guys you get out of the portal are most likely going to hit the portal again if something crazy happens. There's a reason they went to the portal the first time. So I wouldn't put too much of my, I wouldn't put too many eggs in that basket, because they jumped in the portal for a reason. There's not, you don't know what's going to set them off and put them back in that portal. So I hope Coach Sanders focus a little bit more on actual recruiting, get actual true freshmen out, guys straight out of high school. I mean, it's the guys out of high school. If you got to get some transfer guys, get some JUCO guys. JUCO guys play with a little bit more edge, because the JUCO guys, they probably were like highly recruited, got the scholarships, but something happened, they had to go down. They probably had to, get their grades up so they can play and then come back up. So they got a little bit more chip on their shoulder. The guys on the transfer portal, it's very iffy how to gauge them guys. Where they are you looking at like a quitter? Are you looking at a guy that's essentially lazy? He didn't want to work to get his position. He didn't want to bide his time. Is this guy in a rush to be successful? There's a lot of different reasons when it comes to the transfer portal. It's very hard to gauge. So I hope he hits up the high school recruits. Get more of them guys. Get some JUCO guys. And maybe tighten up the reins a little bit. I think he's a little too loosey. Like Colin Cowherd said something. This is my last point. Colin Cowherd said something years ago. I watched his show back in the day. It's easier to be a hard ass coach and then kind of tone it down, like Saban or like Belichick or what's his name for the back in the day Giants, Bill Parcells. It's a lot Popovich. It's a lot easier to be a hard ass and then kind of tone it down as you get along than it is to be the nice guy and then try to be a hard ass. It doesn't usually go that way. But all right, thank you for watching. Peace.